Hey guys, I'm going to basically compound two recaps into one because I missed the one recap. So this will be a compound recap of our win against the Indiana Pacers as well as our win against the Charlotte Hornets. I'll make the Pacer one real short and then go to the Hornets one since that's actually more relevant. I thought that the zone defense looked in that late third quarter, fourth quarter. Obviously, not only changed the game, but I feel like it's something that should be a main defensive thing. Obviously, Doc doesn't feel that way. He wants to stay true to man principles. But as the game of basketball evolves, and yes, I said that, evolves, it's getting harder and harder to play man defense in the NBA. It really is because there's a consolidation of talent that's just happened around the league, and it's really nobody's fault. It's just I would say from 2009 to the present, we just haven't had luck with drafting small forwards and shooting guards in the NBA. When you see Kawhi in his mid 30s doing what he's doing, when you see what LeBron is doing what he's doing, I mean, there's a reason why Kate Cunningham should be a number one overall pick regardless, and that's because there's a dearth of 6'6" players in the league right now who are at above average level. Like LaMelo Ball, as he continues to develop the Charlotte, that's going to be a very valuable asset for the Hornets to have. Because frankly, there just isn't that much 6'6" and above talent in the league right now. And because of that, the teams who do have that talent, so for example, Brooklyn Nets who have that talent, and I guarantee you that's the team that they were practicing zone for, that's the kind of scenario that you find yourself where you just don't have the wingmen to match up. Although I will say this, Danny Green had his best defensive performance of the season tonight. It's, you know, technically that's not saying much, but I thought Danny Green competed defensively tonight. I thought he did not lose his man as badly as he lost it throughout most of the year. And I thought that Danny Green competed on the defensive end tonight. So this Charlotte game, I was able to watch most of it. I only missed a portion of it because I was eating dinner. Early on in the first quarter, Joel Embiid was dominant, not only offensively, obviously, but defensively. Just the way that Joel is moving his feet, the way that he's using his basketball IQ, his mindset, as he's deflecting balls and as he's reading the offense. Joel Embiid is getting more and more comfortable with the more games he plays, and it's just really exciting to see where a guy basically has 34 and 11, and it's a B plus night because arguably you could have easily had 60. No, seriously. And a lot of these 30-point games, he could have went off 40, 45, 50 because he's just that talented. Now, really, the big problem that I have, and we've seen this for the past 6 games now, 7 games now, to where it's a topic of discussion is Doc, I mentioned this a few videos ago, and I'm going to mention it again. What happened to your guard rotation, bro? See, early on in the year, before COVID, we had a three-headed beast. We had Steph Curry, we had Shake Milton, and we had Tyrese Maxey. Now, Tyrese Maxey was still the third guard, but he was getting anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes a night, almost a night. You had a legitimate three-guard rotation. Now, Doc is basically limited to a two-guard rotation, and essentially Tyrese Maxey is out of rotation. I don't think that does you well. I think that having multiple ball handlers has really helped your basketball team. That's for starters. But then if I were to be really brutal, and maybe it's not fair to Steph Curry because of the coronavirus, but neither Steph Curry nor Shake Milton, number one, neither of them are true point guards. Number two, neither of them about play Tyrese in my opinion. No, seriously, I'm sorry. Shake Milton, his shooting is gone woo, way down. And not only the shooting went down, You're going to see teams pressure Shake Milton in full court press. This guy is not a point guard. So that's the real big issue here with rotation. Not just that Tyrese isn't getting minutes, but that Doc is basically asking Shake Milton to be his primary backup point guard. And Shake Milton is just not a point guard. And that was a big part of what happened in the second half. The offense struggled because you were basically running Shake Milton, and anytime you weren't running Shake Milton, you were running Seth Curry. Neither of them could create. And oh God, Charlotte did what? Well, we all know what the story is. How do you guard Ben Simmons? Your center, in this case, Kobe Zeller, stay 30 feet away. There, Ben Simmons to occupy that space. He doesn't have a pull-up jump shot, so he can't really create off the bounce. So basically, Ben is standing way out on the perimeter and waiting for your guys to come off screen and rolls so that they can pop open for a jump shot or to create something for themselves. It really is so bizarre to see Ben Simmons stand there. He's basically like a Ben Roethlisberger of basketball right now. It's just, ah. And I just don't know when we're going to get over it. Obviously, it's going to be up to Doc to make the change. It's going to be up to Sam to make the change. But whenever teams just decide to pull the center back, it's like, who cares if you draw the second man because it's an easy switch of your hip to the wing attacker. Like, Ben isn't gonna threaten me. Why do I care when Ben makes that pass? My man is Shake Milton on the wing or Tobias Harris on the wing who Ben passes to. So it's a very easy one pass away guard when Ben is on the top of the team and is sagging that big man. I'm just tired of looking at it. Generally, to me, I know Ben gets a lot of assists. I know he especially gets them when they form the wall to keep them from penetrating. And I still wonder when they're going to, yes, walls keep them from penetrating, but I think NBA defenses need to be more sophisticated about when you wall and when you don't wall. Because it makes no sense to give up a 40% open Steph Curry and 40 open% Tobias Harris or 40% open Danny Green. It just does not make sense at all. And that's why our offense has been productive because defenses are doing that. But if I was coaching against the Sixers, I'd be like, let's pick and choose when we're going to wall and when we're not going to wall. Because it just makes no sense for these Seth, Danny, Tobias open for the hell of it. Like, Ben doesn't have a great dribble. If I have a wingman, if I have a Jaylen Brown, feed him over the top. If you feed him over the top, congratulations. But he's just not going to be, good to elite defenders on the top because he just doesn't have anything to create. Like, literally, Ben, some of his best shots were some hook shots. It got him into the post and it was productive. And we have seen this repeatedly throughout Ben's career. I don't know what it's going to take for us to say he is a power forward. And if Tobias Harris continues to hit shots and attack, doesn't make the defensively slide Tobias Harris over the small forward. Like defensively last year, Tobias Harris was good defensively. The offense was the problem. If if he could still be who he is right now while sliding over the small forward, I would do that because I'm just done with Ben Simmons at point guard, and I'm also done watching Shake Milton try to run it because it's just and that's why you had that second half in Charlotte. But that shows you how impressive we are because we scored 118 points even with those struggles. So I'm not going to talk like it's the 30th ranked offense because it's not. And then obviously, they made their threes, contested threes, and maybe you did take the foot off the gas defensively a bit. But I'm just saying that's Charlotte, right? But against Brooklyn, I'm not sure if you can handle 3-minute stretches, 4-minute stretches. Danny Green trying to handle a ball out of bounds. I'm not sure you can deal with that when it comes to. Now, I made fun of the Nets. Me, shout out to Run It Back Nation, DJs for really taking all these. Shout out to all of our guys. We've all made fun of the Nets because it's obvious. Right now, the Nets are not a real contender. They're not. If you're getting up 120, like literally, I did watch that game against the Clippers, and to hear these TNT announcers say with a straight face, both teams are 90 points at the start of the fourth quarter. Oh, the Nets are trying. And you know what? It was true to an extent. They were trying, but they're not good at all. So who cares if you try? You suck. Like, I guess you can't criticize the effort, but the reality is that a bottom, not even bottom five, they're the worst defensive team in the NBA, and I don't know how the Nets are going to overcome that to even win a playoff series or two, let alone get to the NBA Finals. So yeah, to ESPN, they have three isolation guys, some of the best isolation guys in the world. Who cares? Right now, you barely beat the Clippers, who also are a disappointment. The Clippers have no interior presence. Both the Nets and the Clippers, they were pretty much the same team, more or less. Both teams are going to lose in the second round. Both teams are over. I'm not going to say the Nets overpaid, but the Clippers obviously trading Shai Alexander and four first round picks for Paul George. So the Clippers, you overinvest in Paul George. It's still going to be a second round team. Coaching change didn't mean anything. They need to be able to get a center from somewhere because Zubac is in the center, Ibaka's an old man, Patrick Beverly is in the point guard. So those two teams are at the same level. Both of them are going to lose in the playoffs at some point. Like, I'm sorry to break it to the Clippers fans and Nets fans. Both of your teams are relevant as far as Eastern Conference, Western Conference Finals, NBA Finals is concerned. Your franchise is all relevant. Sorry to say. But even still, with that irrelevance of the regards to the Nets, it's still concerning that we have to have a more consistent offense. And I'm not sure if we can have a consistent offense with Ben Simmons at the point. On better news, Tobias Harris, I am voting for him for the All Star. I voted his All Star yesterday. I'm going to do it again today. Hashtag vote Tobias Harris for All Star. He is killing it right now. Tobias Harris, number 31, just he's been all over the place. Actually, number 12 now, 31 a couple years ago. What am I saying? But yeah, Tobias Harris has been all over the court, shooting basketball like he's thousands, getting to his spots. They're letting you dribble hand off to shoot Joe and lead Tobias Harris. And it's really getting Tobias Harris downhill. And, just the two-man game has just been really wonderful to watch. I love this team. I love this team's execution for the most part. The stuff that I'm talking about with point guard is really off of, preset plays. But when you run the two-man game and when you get Shake Milton downhill, let's see what's 4 for 12. So I'm not like 0 for 18 or something, but there was just a difference between Shake Milton attacking off the dribble and Shake Milton trying to set up the offense. There were two totally different experiences regarding that. And I think that's my main issue. Same thing. Ben Simmons attacking downhill is great. Ben Simmons standing 35 feet from the 3-point line while waiting for someone else to get open off of a screen because he can't take a no man off the dribble or pull up. I'm kind of through with that. Especially since I watched Tyrese, in that run that the kid had. Before everyone came back, this is a dude that's averaging 11 points, 5 assists before rookie. It's phenomenal numbers. I feel like if Steph Curry is not getting you offense right now, you don't have to rush Steph Curry back into it. Put Steph Curry on the bench and let Tyrese go with, I don't know, you always have to pay Tyrese with a shooter because there were two lineups that we know don't work. Tyrese is a point guard, he's not a shooting guard. And so I don't ever want to see him sharing the backcourt with Ben Simmons again. Now we've seen Tyrese hit a couple of shots, but until Tyrese gets to that place where he can hit it every day and be a regular catch and shoot guy off the ball, it just doesn't make sense at that backcourt. That backcourt has PJ McConnell fields, and really one of the big reasons it has PJ McConnell fields is because Tyrese can't do anything off the ball. Both of those guys, Ben and Tyrese, need the ball in their hand right now. So if you did want Tyrese to overcome Steph Curry, I would actually pair those two together. Everyone knows what my preferred lineup is. I would have Tyrese Maxey at the point. I would have Shake Milton at shooting guard. I would slide Ben Simmons over to small forward. Tyrese has to be my power forward, and we have the league MVP at center. That would be my ideal lineup. We saw that lineup in a 5 minute stretch, and it worked well defensively, but I just I'll never understand what's happening with the rotation right now. Like I totally disagree, Doc, with the rotation. I totally disagree with it. I feel like the rotation is actually kind of costing you a little bit of momentum when you have Shake Milton pretending to be an NBA point guard. He's a great scorer. He's a great six man. Point guard, he's not. Always run Shake Milton with another guard. Even if it's Steph Curry, who isn't much of a point guard either, but I would rather have two guard sets with Shake and Seth, or Seth and Maxie, or Maxie and Milton. And that's what was happening earlier in the year. Earlier in the year, you were running heavy two guard sets. Now we're going back to the extreme one guard set, if you can even call it that, with Ben Simmons as a quote unquote point guard. So it's just a big disagreement with the rotation right now between me and Doc. I prefer two guard heavy sets. I believe two guard heavy sets is where you should go. Your backcourt is legitimate, and Ben Simmons is just never a backcourt player. He's not. Until he shoots, he's not a backcourt player. That's no, it's not some ESPN thing. He's just not a guard until he can pull up, even from mid range. Even if I had a 16-foot jumper, then I could say that. But right now, big tall passer guy is a big tall passer guy, but he's not a true off the bounce point guard. Off the bounces in the street, in the wide. That guy who just takes the ball, maybe he carries it a little, and he goes to the rim. That's not who Ben is until we get the jumper or something. He's just a big tall passer guy. Overall, though, was 16 and 6, 10 and 1 at home, 12 and 0 with the lineup together. And I guess that's the reason why you keep the rotation that you have, even though Steph Curry is basically dropped off like a rock right now. So, all is good. It's what they would call first world problem. It's a first world problem where you disagree with the rotation of the coach, but you're winning. You know, it happens. Yeah, you're winning. You're 10-1. So all I can say is, as long as we're winning, as long as the guys are pulling these games out, maybe it isn't going to be picture perfect all the time or most of the time, but we won, and that's the most important thing, and that's a big takeaway. Next up is we have the Portland Trailblazers tomorrow, and we'll have the Nets a couple of games after that. I'm hoping that we seal the deal on the Portland Trailblazers. We should have sealed the deal tonight. I hope we seal the deal early against the Blazers so we can get technically like a day and a half rest before we play the Nets. Because the Nets, we know what they are. They're going to be a high steal team. They're going to be a team where Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving are going to take turns attacking you off the bounce. High pick and roll, high isolation team. You're going to have to be on your toes for 48 minutes because that's how they want to play. On the other hand, I am confident that with us and when we're healthy, we're going to be able to stop them in what I call 5 minute segments. If you can stop the Nets in 5 minute segments, meaning a 5 minute stretch of time, say in the second or first or any period of time really, but between the first and fourth quarter, if you're able to get those 5 minute segments off in your favor, you're going to be able to blow out the Nets because they just have zero ability to defend anybody at all. Like, I don't celebrate any 120 points. Zach Simmons is probably a bit upset at the 111 if he gave up to Charlotte. Like, there's a certain standard that we have that the Nets don't have, will never have. And because we have that standard, if we have 5 minute segments, we should blow them out. But the ideal way to get to that point is to take care of business against Portland. They're banged up. We don't know if Damian Lillard's going to shoot up or not. If he doesn't shoot up, all the more reason. Take care of it. Be healthy. Execute. Get out there with another win at home and prepare yourself for Brooklyn. But overall, I'm really excited about the team. I'm excited about what we're going to do. I cannot wait to see what the season brings. Let's go Sixers. Sixers Universe. I'm out.